Hi Abhijit, how are you?
Yeah, hi, Rakesh sir. I'm fine, sir. How are you?
I'm good too. Thank you. So can you tell us something about yourself?
Yeah, I'm Abhijit Panigre and I'm from Odisha and I have completed my graduation in Chennai. And after that, I started like working in an IT service-based industry. So where my roles and responsibilities include meeting the business requirement and doing manual testing as well as automation testing. And I have also worked on I'm working currently as working as a end-to-end tester where I am working on UI testing using Selenium and Java. Along with that, I have also worked on API testing using SOAP UI and Postman, and also I worked on API automation using REST Assured. And apart from that, I have also worked on backend validations using IBM Data Studio and MySQL. And apart from this, I have also a basic understanding of Git and GitHub and how it is integrated with Jenkins for CI/CD. And apart from all this, I have also knowledge in Cucumber VDD.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. So can you tell us something about your automation framework in which you are working?
Okay, so coming to our UI automation framework, so it is based on Selenium and Java, and it
Mm-hmm.
is integrated with TestNG. So coming to the structure of our framework, so we have around 7 to 8 web pages in our application. So we have automated each we have created a separate class file for each of the web applications. So that using that page of the design pattern. And one more thing I want to say is like our application has like two type of accesses. One is the read access and one is the write access. So we have created two page object file for each web page. One is for read only and one is for write. So we just wrote it to segregate between read and write, so that it will be easier to change and update whenever required. And apart from that, we have integrated with TestNG. So we have created profiles for each type of testing. And so based on the test cases, we do grouping of the test cases. So based on that, we have created profiles also in TestNG, which is further integrated with Maven and Jenkins. So Jenkins internally calls Maven. So yeah, we have created profiles where we can run like particular scenarios like smoke testing, regression testing, and like scenarios from a particular web page. So that's a segregation we have done. And apart from that, we have a code to like handle Excel file also. So and and for data testing, we are using first Excel, and we are also using the test engine data provider. So that is with respect to the test case. And apart from that, we have also integrated with testng listeners interface where we are using it for reporting. So there are like four methods: on test start, on test success, on test failure, on test finish. So we have written the corresponding test and extent report code there. And in the test failure, we have also written a code to take a screenshot on failure, and also rerun the flaky test using that retry analyzer interface.
Mm-hmm.
And coming to extend report, it yeah we like log all the test cases like as per our run, right? It logs all the test cases, what is the duration of each test case, and what is the failure, what is the pass, and what is the failure percentage. So we have all those graphical details also available in our extend report HTML files.
Mm-hmm.
This is the high level. Yeah.
Okay, okay. You were telling that you are automating an application which is having read-only access and write-only access. So
Yeah.
write-only access, you would be able to perform all the operations, CRUD operations. But how do you automate read-only access things?
So we use the navigation. So after navigating, we check whether the particular element is present or not. So we put assertions on that. So there
Okay,
are drop downs on selecting each drop down. There are corresponding values that populates on the web page. So we are automating that. So if you select one drop down and the corresponding value, what is the corresponding value? We are using test ng assertions and asserting that.
okay. So on those particular pages, you are actually trying to retrieve the text. You are getting the text and then you are validating
Yeah,
it. You have the assertions, you
yeah,
have the checkpoints. Okay. But then
yeah, yeah.
100% of coverage is not possible on those particular pages, right?
Read only we are doing 100%. Write we are not doing because it creates an entry in the database and those things. So
Mm,
read we are achieving 100% automation. So
mm.
all the drop down navigation, all those things we are able to like almost 100% is there. And write only we are not automating, so because each click that we do on the web page is like logging information in the database.
Okay. So
Yeah,
right only for that also you can get the 100% off, or you can get some increase in the coverage by trying to automate in a lower environment, for example, staging or in the test environment, wherein you can update, wherein you can add the records, right? And
yeah,
you can then check in the database, but that database would be connected with your lower environment, right? So you can
yeah,
automate those things.
yeah.
Okay.
So we have like
Mhm.
we have this automation code that is pushed into the production, but there also we are running only read only. We don't have permissions to run the automation scenario in like for write in production, because it will create a dummy data, so and
Okay.
client doesn't want it. Yeah,
Client doesn't want. Okay, fine. So basically, you have already had a word, you had a conversation with the client, and
yeah,
you have got an agreement from them that this much would be the coverage for write only, and this much would be the coverage for the read only. Fair enough. If you're working in a
yeah,
service-based company, then right, client is the king. Fine.
yeah,
Now, coming to the next question. So you were telling you are having Selenium with Java with TestNG, right?
yeah,
So
yeah, yes.
let's say if you want to run the test cases in parallel in TestNG, right? So how would you achieve it?
So
Parallel
first of all,
execution. Yeah.
yeah. So we have our test.ng XML file. So
Mm,
there in the suite level, we can mention like the parallel attribute, and we can give the value as if you want to run the test cases parallelly, then we can give method. If you want to give classes, we want to run the class files parallelly, we can give classes, and we can also have tests.
mm,
And we also have to give the thread count, so maximum how many number of threads can run parallelly. So maximum recommended is 5, sir, but we
mm.
go for like 2 only.
Correct, correct. Right. So let me share the screen. See, you can apply the parallel mechanism via methods and via suite level as well. Right. So at the test level and at the methods level, both you can apply the parallel execution, right? So this is how your
Yeah,
testng.xml file would look like,
yeah, yes.
right? So this is
Yeah,
how you can answer, right? Okay. Now, let's say you want to execute parallelly. So what are the changes that you will do in the testng.xml file? And do you have to get some approval from your leads or managers, or you do the changes and you make them up and running?
we can make the changes up and running, so we don't need any approval. So we are only maintaining. There was no requirement for from client side to automate. We only put efforts from our side to, so that during regression testing we minimize and minimize the efforts in manual testing, and like we can cover a lot of scenarios within less time.
Right, right. So you can cover a lot of scenarios in less time. That is the advantage of the parallel execution. Great.
Yeah.
You were mentioning about a data provider. So why are you using data provider?
So for small test cases, right, where we don't want to like integrate with Excel file, where
Mm,
like there is like 3 4 datas only. So there we are using test engine data provider.
mm-hmm.
So Excel we are like kept it for like large test cases where we require large amount of data. Test engine data provider it has a capacity for handling large data also, but we are using like only just 3 to 4 like data.
Right. So you are using Excel file for reading the data?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, you are using the Excel file. Fine. Now, mm, let me share the screen. Let's say you are reading the data from an Excel file. Some Excel file is there which contains the names, or you can say the username that it needs to pass. Okay, and this is the name of that Excel file, names.xlsx, for example. Now you want to
Okay.
read the data from this particular file. Okay, so you'll be reading the data, but at times you might be finding the cell value to be null or empty, right? So how will you handle this via automation? Now this Excel file you would get from the client, right? So they are working on this Excel file. They'll provide you this Excel file via mail whenever you want to trigger your regression suit. So this
Yeah.
is a kind of data which is not constant, which might change. And in this, you are reading this username data, and you are reading the data from this file. And at times you might find some of the cell value to be null or empty. So how will you handle this in your automation?
So we can like use a try catch block, and we
Hmm.
can check like we can iterate over each cell and check whether it is null or empty. If it is not null, if it contains a particular text, right, then we can use that for our automations.
You
If it is
can,
not present, then we can handle it in our catch block, saying that our input output exception, something like that.
right, you can handle it via this. Okay, fine, great. Now, let us see. Uh, this Excel file that you were reading
Yeah.
on Monday, right? You read this Excel file and the execution was successful. Okay. You got
Okay.
the new file on Tuesday with this with a kind of this username for username only. But on Tuesday, the script was unsuccessful, right? So now it is not this particular scenario. So on Monday, it was running fine, the same script with a Excel file. And let me keep this for your reference as Monday here, right? This is the Excel file you received on Tuesday. So two different files. On Monday, the script got successful. On Tuesday, the script is unsuccessful. So how would you do troubleshooting?
So firstly, I will do the analysis like what has changed between Monday and Tuesday. Is there
Hmm.
any like backend change? So whatever Excel we are using, it is like with reference to the backend tables only. We will analyze if there is anything has changed in the backend or not. And apart from that, if there is no change in the backend, then we will check like the API integrations that is done with the UI. So how the API is. So every component in our UI is integrated with an API. So whether it is get, push, or post, everything is integrated. So we will check whether the API call is happening or not. So and we also have logging where we check the logs. It
So
gives us the
how do
log
you
like
check the logs?
so we have a tool called Splunk. So there are all our logs, every action that we perform, and if we provide the query with the application name, it gives us the logs of that particular application and that duration of which we are searching for. It will give all
Hmm.
the logs. So there, if you dig dive in the logs, there will be some other information.
Hmm. Got
Yeah.
it. Okay, fine. Now let's say you are trying to automate a web page that has got a login. Okay, so login is
Okay.
there, and then you would be able to see the rest of the screens in the application, right?
Okay.
And this login is actually integrated with a third party service provider. For example, you have AOL.com, right? So you get the login screen of your application first. And then you have to get into that AOL.com, that username password would come, that you would enter, and then your actual web page on which you are doing the automation, that would come,
Okay.
right? So how would you handle this? First of all, will you handle this via UI automation or will you handle this via API automation?
So firstly API only, because after it integrates with API only, then only we will integrate with the UI, right? So we'll just check for the API. So in API also, if the third party is ready, then we will use the actual API, or else we can use the mock API also
Hmm.
for like testing. So
Okay.
we in mock API also we will have some predefined. So if our user passes these valid credentials, then it will be able to log in. They will be having input validations and all type of like user details, so which can access, which cannot access.
Hmm.
If yeah, if the third party is ready, we can directly integrate. If not, we can create a mock API and we can test it.
Right. And once the third party is ready, then you will update your test automation scripts. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
And how will you handle the token mechanism here? The token would also be getting generated when you log in. And let's say the token is valid for 15 minutes. Then what would you do?
So we will try to automate it using REST assured. So we
Hmm.
have currently how we are handling it. We are using auth 2.2.
Hmm.
So where we have to apply pass the client ID, client secret, and what is the grant type, scope, and all this. and then we are storing the response in one variable, and we are doing the JSON parsing of that variable, and we are getting the token detail. So the token detail we are using it further in our APIs, like get or put or post APIs. We are doing it, handling that also.
Okay, right, good.
And yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
and
please,
the
please.
web page, yeah. So our application is auto generating. So it is like coming to API automation, we are doing the uh, generation using our that rest assured, but our application is internally handling the token generation, sir. Like from development team only, it is handling.
So you would connect with the development team. You would get the request and the response parameters from them. You will create your payload accordingly, and you'll pass in
Yeah,
your automation script. And once it is done, the token would be generated. That token you will save in the some kind of a variable, which might change after every time when you have login.
yeah.
Okay.
From
Now
the
let's
UI side, from the UI side, it is auto generated, but from API testing perspective, we need to do it manually, like through automation scripting, we have to do it.
right, right. You will have to do it. From the UI side, it is auto-generated, you are telling.
Yeah, UI side from after the API is integrated to the UI, it is
Yeah,
like
yeah.
automatically
Then it
that,
would be
yeah.
there. Right.
API level testing, we have to write the scripts for auto generating.
Yeah. Now you have got Twitter APIs. Okay. And
Yeah.
basically you want to automate these APIs. So can you describe what kind of test automation framework you would design for Twitter automation? So you have to design the test automation framework. You have to build it from scratch. So you can tell me the components or few of the step-by-step process that you would take care while automating these APIs.
Twitter API. Okay.
Twitter APIs are there. Yeah.
So this we want to integrate in our I didn't get the question, sir. Can you come
It's
again?
you can integrate, you cannot integrate this. Considered for Twitter testing, you have got some project and you want to
Okay.
automate this Twitter APIs.
Okay.
Twitter
So
UI,
first,
I'm not asking about Twitter UI. You can post, you can tweet something, you can put some messages, media files there. But these are the
yeah.
API level of automation. Yeah.
Okay, so first we will get that API detail, and we will try to understand what is the input request,
Mm,
like how the input request, and based on what parameters, how the response will look like. We will try to understand that, and we will understand the workflow also. So there are API integration, right? So one API is output is input for another API. So that
mm,
level of understanding will do. Will like prioritize and we'll understand the workflow, sir, basically. So what API is sending what data to another API, and internally for each API also we'll try to like understand, as I said like earlier, a response and output. Sorry, request and response. So we'll try to understand how it is behaving on what parameters, and then we'll have like different types of test data. So suppose it is a login based, so there we can check the it is entering email and password, no special characters are there, so that is comes as input validation. And after we'll do the response status code validation, and also the response. So for valid users it should allow, and for non-valid it should throw an error with an error message. So yeah, so basically how the API is designed, we'll read the documentation. So
mhm.
based on the documentation, we'll design our test cases.
Right, right. Now, see, if you get this type of question, then I'll tell you. Right. So you have this. Is my screen visible to you?
It is loading. Yeah, now it is loading.
Yeah. So it's a step-by-step procedure. So whatever the things that you are telling, that is correct. Now you have to come up in a ordered manner. So you have to present your answer in such a manner that the interviewer is able to get 100% of answer in this particular question, right? So first of all, you'll set up the Maven project, right? And that you'll include dependencies for rest assured. Then the Twitter API authentication. So again, OAuth 2.0, so which you are mentioning, that is correct, right? You'll get those particular details from the developers, and you'll try to automate that the authentication. Then you will get some API keys, right? So you can
Yeah.
externalize these API keys and tokens in the configuration file. So you have config.properties, right? So see,
Yeah.
config.properties, then Maven project. So authentication you covered, then rest assured. These are few of the keywords which you have to use. Now,
Okay.
then you'll create your this class, Twitter API client class, right? So which will interact with the Twitter APIs. For example, fetching the recent tweets or posting some tweet, or you want to get the data, which is the tweet which got a lot of likes in last 24 hours, or which is the tweet or which got a lot of comments in the last 24 hours. Then
Okay.
Selenium setup you'll do, right? So you'll set up
Yeah.
the Selenium at that case, and then you'll integrate your API testing with your rest assured and all these things. Now, tomorrow, if they ask you for UI automation, so you have to have this UI automation as well for Twitter. Then will you include this in the same framework, or will you create a separate framework for the UI automation?
Separate frameworks.
Separate, correct, correct. So if it is API automation, it's a separate framework. If it's a UI automation, it would be a separate framework. But if you have to integrate between the two things, let's say you want to take the APIs from the list of tweets that you have got and you have to put it in the Excel, then what would you do? Would you handle it in the API automation framework or in the UI automation framework?
We can handle it in the API automation framework itself. So we
API.
have that. We can like have that Apache Fire dependency in our pom.xml, and we can
Hmm.
store those details.
Right. Okay. Now I'm giving you screen sharing rights, and I
Okay.
want you to click on share screen button, and you have to open, let me tell you. So you have to open this website. This is an e-commerce website which you need to open in your Google Chrome browser, right? So can you share your screen? And then I'll tell you one
Yes.
use case. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, sir. You're able to see my screen, right?
Yeah, yeah, I'm able to see. Now click on this same day delivery tab. Are you able to see same day delivery tab? Same day delivery. Yeah, click on that same day delivery. Up at the tabs. You have a unique
Yeah.
selections custom. Yeah, yeah. Click on that same day delivery.
Okay.
Click on that. Okay. Now scroll down. Scroll down. You would be able to see the products which are delivered on the same day. Yeah, scroll down a bit. Yeah, yeah. Further scroll down. You will get the list of 6 to 7 products. Yeah, scroll down further. Yes, yes. Go on scrolling. Go on. Yeah, yeah. Try to go more. Yeah,
All of this are same day only, sir. You are looking for anything else?
yeah, yeah. But we want to get the list. So yeah, yeah, yeah. See. Yeah, yeah. Top same day delivery products on Google. So you got this product's name and the prices list. Okay. Now,
Okay.
can you find the locator for this list? You have to
This list, right?
find the locator for this list. Yeah.
Okay.
Are you getting the question?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
We can do the parent-child traversing also. I'll write a syntax. I found the locator, sir. We can like use find elements and we can get those values, sir. So this is a locator which I've written. So this is a parent like parent locator which is having all those. Under that, I have navigated to TD tag. So
So,
if I click on enter, right, it is giving all the details. I can push it into find elements and you can get all the
okay, but this class you are taking, right? This class, which
yeah.
is not a reliable thing because there is a space in that class 12 space mid space space space. So this locator that
Okay.
you are getting, this you are able to get this element here, but in the automation, this might not be the reliable thing. It might fail. It might work sometimes. So this will turn out to be an intermittent failure. So can you come up
Okay.
with some other locator?
Yeah, I can use the regular expressions.
Hmm.
Contains.
Now, how much you are getting? Are you getting one of one here?
No, sir.
Okay, I'll give you one hint. So here, you take this text H2, say top same day delivery products on Kapruga, and try to create an
Okay.
XPath on this basis. Try to come up with a following or following sibling kind of a XPath.
So for H2 tag, you're telling to
So
write.
H2 tag you can take because H2 is the text on the reference of which you have this table beneath that particular text, H2 text. The table is there, but it is there beneath that top same day delivery products on Kapruga. So take that text and try to
Okay.
create an XPath for the elements which are beneath that particular text. You are going for a relative XPath, so that's a correct decision. Yeah. Now try to come
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
So from this, you want to like get fetch these details.
Hmm. This will be easier
Okay.
for you rather than going for the class. No, you take this text as a reference and try to come up with the locator. So it's
Okay.
a table, right?
Yeah.
Hmm. Then
Table. This will not be a good locator to write. So you can directly go with T body only, like using again. I can try with following sibling also.
yes, yes, you try with that. That should work.
Following sibling is P. I think. Yeah, P it is highlighting. Again, we can like use following sibling to come
Hmm.
to table. Yeah, we came to table, and again on top in that we can do this T like this.
Perfect. Yeah, so you got all the seven elements. Now, what if I
Yeah,
want the locator for that particular line? Find the top same day delivery products on Kapruka, while you could also explore the price in Sri Lanka and LKR here. This will not come in this particular table, right? So how will you come up with the locator for this?
for this you are telling. Hello. Able to hear this?
Hello? Hello?
Yeah. Yes. Sir.
Audible? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Hmm,
Yeah. Now you are audible, sir.
hmm,
So could you repeat your question, sir?
hmm. So you got this table, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
You got the product name, then the say cheers chocolate cake and further. Now, how to get
Yeah.
this text? Find the top same day delivery products on Kapruka, while you could also explore the price in Sri Lanka and LKR here. How to get that line? How to get the text? Because that is not included in your table, right?
Okay, this one you're telling. Okay. So we can do till traversal till P only if you want to get the text.
Yeah, yeah. So can
From
you
here,
come up with the
from
XPath for that?
yeah, if I from
Hmm.
here you want to traverse, or if I do this also it is fine.
So you can remove table. Yeah, yeah. Perfect, perfect. This is a great. Okay, great thing. Good. Yeah. So now you can stop
So
sharing your.
on top of this,
Hmm.
if you want to traverse, we can use that parent attribute also, where you can
Correct.
travel to the subsequent parent also.
Yes. Perfect, perfect.
Yeah.
Great. Fine. So good. So you were able to come up with the XPath. Now, mm, how will you handle dynamic drop downs in Selenium?
Dynamic drop-downs. Okay.
Hmm.
So
How
we'll
will you handle
first we'll
dynamic? Sorry. Yeah, yeah. Please go ahead. Hmm.
yeah, first we'll select a particular, like dynamic means what? So once we'll click on one element, it will
Hmm.
like
So,
show like subsequent values.
yeah. So
So
let
that we
me, yeah, let me tell you in detail what kind of scenario would it be. Then you can answer. Okay. So consider you have a colors drop down. Okay. And
okay,
this
okay,
drop down you have to automate. Now the text, the list of the colors, it is coming like red, it is coming blue, is green, yellow. First time when you
okay,
hit on the drop down and you see the list, it is coming like this. Second time when you go, it comes green comes first, blue comes second, then red comes, then your yellow comes. So the order of the list within that particular drop down is also changing. So it's a dynamic, right? So you get,
dynamic.
yeah,
Okay.
the values are changing. It is not like every time you will start from red. So how will you handle
Okay.
this thing in Selenium?
Firstly, we will like click on that drop down, and we'll get the list of all the elements present on it. It will we'll store it in a variables, a list of web elements, and after getting the list, we can like write if condition. If like color contains or equals ignore case red, then we can like click on it to get the subsequent drop down values. We have to use the weight mechanism also accordingly. And suppose it is a hover based drop down, so we have to use action class also for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, let's say your drop down is changing in this manner that earlier it was having red, blue, green, yellow. Now you are
Yeah.
having a different set of colors itself. Purple, you have magenta, you have black, you have white. Okay, the colors values itself are changing. Then how will you automate it?
So we are getting the list of web elements, right? So
Correct.
while we're clicking the drop down, we're getting all the list of web elements.
Correct. Okay,
Yeah.
so
So
that's how you will be working on this particular thing.
yeah.
Okay, wait. Okay. Yeah. Now, uh, how do you trigger your automation? So you were telling that you are using this Jenkins as a CI/CD tool, right?
Yeah.
So what is your role in the CI/CD? I'm not asking that you have to create the pipeline and your, but what is your contribution from the DevOps perspective?
So
Mm,
each of our whatever XML files I have created, right? For that,
mm,
I have created profiles.
mm,
So like in our pom.xml using Maven Surefile plugin, we
mm,
have used the profile. So for each profile, we have given the ID.
mm,
So using that ID, we can frame our Maven command. So it is Maven hyphen test, and we can mention that profile name. And that profile name is like you like internally called by the Jenkins. So based on our when we click on we have choice parameters in Jenkins, right? So when we
mm,
use we will be having the drop downs where we can choose a regression. It is nothing that but the ID values from this form.xml.
mm,
So yeah, that I have created the like different profiles in our pom.xml.
Hmm.
So using that we can call it. And also we have written a code to handle based on the browser. So we have to automate in Chrome, Edge, and Firefox. So we have written a code to handle in those browsers. So it is mvn hyphen test where you have to give the profile name, and hyphen d where you have to give the browser name. So those details like profile and browser details code we are handling. So, and then the Jenkins team has like integrated.
Right. Right. So now let me share the screen. Okay. Are you able to see the screen?
Yeah. Yes.
Hmm? Now, this is one of the scenario, right? So the your team has been working on a feature for the Amazon Music app, right? To support
Okay.
the multiple languages. For example, till now it was supporting 5 languages. Now it will start supporting 10 languages or maybe more than that. Okay. Now this
Okay.
the test plan for the feature was created by your one of your team member who is currently on a vacation. Now it is your responsibility to sign off on the release of this feature. Okay.
Okay.
So you have to rate the following things from scale 1 ineffective to the highly effective. So you have A, which is start executing as in the test plan, B, scrap the test plan, C, use the existing plan, right? Or D, review the test plan with the team to get more clarity into the current plan and changes. So what would be your first step? And you have to come up with the order of these steps. Which one will you go for the first, right? And their rating as well. Maybe one of the option you might feel this is outdated, this is redundant. That is one. You'll rate them at a scale one. One of the option you'll feel this is good. This I will take first. So you'll rate it as five, like that. You're getting the question?
Yeah. Yes. So D would be my first priority, sir. Like review
Hmm.
the test plan and to get more clarity of the current plan.
Hmm.
After that, we can also use C. Why C? Because we have already few languages. So after integration of new languages, the existing languages features should not get impacted. And
Hmm.
for like new scenarios, you have to like adapt yourself. So we can create more scenarios for it. Scrap the test and create a new one. So it is not recommended usually because like it might create some discrepancies. So and we have to provide a release. So creating a new test plan will not be ideal. So whatever existing, because that is a proven thing, right? So we will just use the existing, and on top of that we will try to add, but we won't create a new test plan because we have to provide the sign off also, like as soon as possible.
Right. See,
Yeah.
the answer is correct. You told this is the first priority that would be there. This is the second thing. And
Yeah.
first is not a proper option. Second is again not a proper option. So D and C would be the correct things here.
Okay.
Fine, Abhijit, I am done with the interview from my side. Do you have any questions for me?
So just waiting for your feedback.
Yeah, yeah. So the feedback is good. You were able to answer multiple things. And let's start with the first thing. So the first question, like I explain about your framework. So you have to explain about everything, your folder structure that you have, the different utilities you have, different packages that you have. What is there in the src test slash Java? What is there in the src slash main slash Java? Those things you can explain. Then
Okay.
about Jenkins integration that you can explain, right? That is important. Then from the Selenium locators, you have to focus, right? Like when to go for a following thing, when to go for sibling thing. So it was good. You were able to figure out, right? Never ever take the class in the locators, right?
Okay.
And then those API automation, the design framework. So which are the different steps that you need to, so maybe you have to work on the presenting your answers. You have got the knowledge, you have got the expertise, you have got the technical alignment to what all things you are doing. You know what is your this answer, but it's just the presentation you have to give. So how you have to start is you have to start with a theoretical thing, then give some examples, then tell in your framework how you have practically used it, right? So end to end.
Okay.
And whenever you know that this question's answer, you are aware about it, take some time, create your answer, and then you present. So it would increase the chances of your selection because you know that you know the answer of this question, and you are confident enough you would be able to cover most of the things, and you take some time in that thing, right? So rather than
Okay.
completing the answer soon, it is good to take some time and to explain in detail. You can elaborate because you know that is your comfort zone. You know the answer. You take out your
Okay.
time, you give the answer, because you never know the next question, it might be a surprise for you, right? So you try
Yeah.
to give
Yeah.
the answers for the questions for which you know, however you know most of the answers. So you try to
Yeah.
take out some time. The interviewer is also an employee. He's working, he or she is working in a company. They will have 30, 45 minutes or 1 hour with you. Then they also have to resume their work. At the end of the day, they also have to submit their reports and all those things. So you
Yeah.
should be able to speak for the maximum time in an interview because you have the knowledge, right?
Okay.
Yeah.